I'm just so blessed to be here. I'm so blessed for each one of you, and I'm so blessed for this center. I think there is so much joy here, and when we gather together, I can just feel it. It permeates the air and the joy. You know, it does feel like family to me, and family is when I think about Thanksgiving, you know, the time to gather and give thanks. And whether your family is your related family or just the family that you call in your life, because sometimes we call on those people into our lives that are even more important to us than those we're related to. These are the people that we choose to walk this earth. And that to me sometimes, this walk with these friends, that's the sweetener. That is the sweetener of life. And you are the sweetener. Don't forget that. You are the sweetener and the richness that is part of the spice of your life. So be grateful for all of that. That is what makes it so great. Mae West said, you only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. So that's kind of important, right? If you do it right, well, once is enough. Let's see if I come back to what I was saying is, there was a story in the Joyous Living Journal about the banquet table. And one of the lines in there that I think some of us, and me as well as the rest of us being all of the collective of us, need reminding was, don't stand at the banquet table of life starving, thinking you do not deserve or aren't worthy of what is already yours. Because the fact that you're absolutely standing at the table means you're ready to receive. But no gift can be given until it's received. So remember that you have to be open to all of that. And you have to be willing to experience a rich, full life. And you only can receive as much as you're willing to accept. You know, some of us, we put conditions on God. We say, I really want this, but not right now. Or I really want this, but I want it in pieces. If we really are ready to step up and say, I really want this, and I'm open and ready to accept it, ready to accept it all. Because divine right action and divine right order are in play. And it'll all be delivered exactly as it should be, regardless of how it looks to you. Regardless of how it looks to you. So ask yourself, what part of the banquet of life are you not enjoying? And is accepting part of the reason why? Is your view of what you can accept. Don't put limitations. You ever seen that Horn of Plenty where everything is spilling out? There's no limitation. That's on the front page. There's no limitation. They're just spilling out. I love all this. So Melody Beattie said, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. Gratitude makes sense of our past. It brings peace for today and creates a wisdom. You know, what stands in our way sometimes is our idea of gratitude when we don't think we have enough. We think there's a period of lacking or something. But if we remember to be grateful for what we have, if you can look at some part that you are grateful, and sometimes when I've had some dark days, what I do is I sit and I try to think, okay, this is not what I really like right now. I'm not too happy with it. But let's turn it around. The only way you can turn it around, rather than stay in the darkness, is go towards the light. Not the ultimate light. Just go towards the light. Go towards the light of thought. Go towards that which you can sit and remember something of gratitude. When Odie was singing, she said, remember something about gratitude. 3 things. I couldn't hold on to just 3 because I had 4, then 5 that immediately flashed into mind that I am so grateful for. And these are the things that will take you from the darkness into the light. And the gratitude, when it focuses on that, what we know about the law of attraction is where we turn our attention and what we focus on, that's what comes into our life. So rather than have the darkness, which you really don't want any more of, shift your focus into the light of the good that you really want, and that's what you're going to draw and pull into your life and what you really want. So sometimes enough is a condition, which is only a condition which you can change. That's all it is. It's a mental attitude. But if you can imagine that you're satisfied with what you have and that you become satiated, almost like when you're at Thanksgiving. I don't do this anymore, but when I was younger, I did. I always ate so much at Thanksgiving, I truly had to undo the top button of my pants. And I wasn't even old, but I did. Because I ate until I ate. I ate like I was a kid who was starving, who had never eaten in his life. And some of us do that. And some of us, it's really hard for us to just know that that's not really for our best health. And so when we're at the banquet table of life, the idea is, what is meaningful for you? What is meaningful which will add and contribute to your life force? What will be the journey on your life, which, like the pilgrims, the 50% or 2/3 that went along for the ride and the adventure, they didn't go there for the religious persecution. They went there for the enjoyment of life. And that's the way our life can be. Our life doesn't have to be hard. We can see the good in it and be grateful for it and thankful for it. The Psalm 107 said, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever." And I use that in there because when we focus on life is good, life is really good. No matter how it is showing up, and when it's showing up sometime when it's not quite so great, then we need to turn it around and look at it differently and see how is it that we can change our attitude and how we feel about life to make it more, where we know that God is all good and for our highest good. And that regardless of how it appears, that there is always an abundance flowing into us, and it comes in ways we may not know. There's another story. Eddie in Dallas called his son in New York just before Thanksgiving and tells him, "I'm sorry to tell you, but your mother and I are going to be divorcing. I just can't take any more of her moaning. We can't stand the sight of each other anymore. I'm telling you first, Eddie, because you are the eldest, and please tell your sister." Well, when Eddie calls his sister Julie, she says, "No way are they getting divorced. I will go over and see them for Thanksgiving." So Julie phones her parents and tells them both, "You must not get divorced. Promise me you won't do anything until I get over there. I'm calling Eddie and we'll both be there with you tomorrow. Until then, don't take any action. And please listen to me," and hangs up. The father puts down the phone and turns to the wife and says, "Good news," he says. "Eddie and Julie are coming for Thanksgiving, and they're both paying their own way." So, there's an abundance in the universe. And all that is perceived is not necessarily real. And how does that tie into it? It ties into the kids and the big table. Now, I came from a large family. And Thanksgiving, there was the large dining room table, which the adults ate at. And then in the kitchen, there was the card table. And the card table, sometimes it was 2 card tables, but that's where the kids ate. And I don't know about you, but we always had fun at the kids' table, but we always longed to be at the adult table.
Yeah.
That was the big goal. The big goal is, when do I get old enough? When do I get to be the right age to go to the big table? I want to be there. That's the way we look at life sometimes. We think we're still at the kids' table. We're waiting for permission or the right time to move to the adult table. And guess what? The adult supervision's been over a long time ago. So just know that you're already invited. The only person keeping you from eating at the big table is you. It's all a mental attitude. You just have to shift your consciousness, shift how you think about life, shift how you think about what you're worthy of. The fact that you belong at the adult table where there is nothing withheld from you. It is all yours for the asking, but you must be willing to receive. You have an infinite amount of choice. We can just choose. And if you don't like what you get, choose again. No is a perfectly acceptable answer. Like, no, thank you, not now. You just don't want that now. And then saying yes and calling in that which really serves you already. Audrey Hepburn said the most important thing is to enjoy your life. To be happy is all that really matters. You know, I thought about that. Is that the most important? And I thought, if you're really happy, there's a basis for that. There's something that feeds your happiness. Because happiness is, when I know I've talked about happiness as a choice. You can be happy, choose to be unhappy or be sad. Or you can choose to be happy. But to me, real, genuine happiness that you feel comes from inside. And when it comes from inside, it doesn't need a reason. It just is. And no matter what goes on, you see the world differently. And it's a wonderful thing. And so when we're having those darker days or those times when things don't go well, it's up to us. We can change the switch. Nobody's going to change the switch for us. It's up to us to change the scene and see how we can really go for it. It's where you put your attention. And what you truly are grateful for, you will nourish. Mr. Eckhart, I will get him the name right one of these days. If the only prayer you ever prayed was, thank you, it would be enough. When we say thank you, it's enough. You don't have to say anything else. And remember, what we pay attention to grows. So be grateful for how good your day is. And I want to end with this prayer, which I really liked. And it's a very modern day prayer. You don't even have to close your eyes for this one. You just stay in. It's to God.com. Dear Lord, every single evening as I am lying here in bed, this tiny little prayer keeps running through my head. God bless all my family, wherever they may be. Keep them warm and safe from harm, for they're so close to me. And God, there is one more thing I wish that you could do. Hope you don't mind me asking. Please bless my computer too. Now I know that it's unusual to bless a motherboard, but listen just a second while I explain it to you, Lord. You see, that little metal box holds more than just odds and ends. Inside those small compartments rest so many of my friends. I know so much about them by the kindness that they give. And this little scraps of metal takes me to where they live. By faith is how I know them, much the same as you. We share in what life brings us, and from that our friendships grew. Please take an extra minute from your duties up above to bless those in my address book that's filled with so much love. Wherever else's prayer may reach, to each and every friend, bless each email inbox and each person who it's send. When you update your heavenly list on your own great CD-ROM, Bless everyone who says this prayer, sent up to God.com. Thank you very much.